Ross, what are you hearing on who might be next, and how did the Rebels not get in this?
Yeah, great question. I oftentimes we talk about the political situation in certain states, and how schools, institutions are connected together, and need to go together. I think the University of Nevada and UNLV are are in that category, and I think that that is a big piece in during this, because yes, UNLV sure seems like it should be in along with. I mean, because my initial reaction when I heard about this a few weeks ago was, well, surely they're going to go get Boise, San Diego State, and UNLV. Like that was the three I thought for sure. And there is definitely some political situations in that state where both would have to go, maybe. And it still could happen, as you mentioned. But I think the first option is them to look probably eastward, because I think they believe they are going to be, they want to be the best of the rest, so to speak, in the group of five, and maybe be that program that's not in the group of five. Maybe be a program that's in between the Power Four and the group of five. Maybe the group of one. And maybe its CFP distribution might end up being that way, where it's actually in between the Big 12 and the Group of Five. It'll be interesting to see that in a few years when the contract look-in provision comes up. We can talk about that later. But
when you say east, what are we talking? Like Memphis? Like who's available?
I think, yeah, Texas schools, American Texas schools, Sunbelt Texas schools, Memphis, obviously.
So like
Conference USA, Texas schools.
Texas State, UTSA, UTEP. Like what do we... Yeah. We got to be specific here. We got to
Memphis, Tulane. No, I don't want to get specific. Obviously,
we lift up their hopes and then we crush them later. But they listen. Just about ratings, buddy.
That's right. Lift them up now.
Pump
them full of hope.
The criteria they used in the release was, as far as what they're looking for in future members, is academics and athletic performance, media and brand value, commitment to athletic success, geography and logistics, culture, and student athlete welfare. So, Texas, North Texas, UTSA, TV. Texas State, Memphis, Tulane, maybe even, I mean, this would be way east, right? But if they're talking about getting the best of the rest as far as, revenue producing, all that stuff, South Florida. So I think there's a lot of options east. The problem is I don't know. Yeah, exactly. Right. Like you're laughing because how
first
absurd
off, that list
be?
Is like, that's like when you ask like some girl, well, I'm looking for a guy with kind eyes and he's good with pets. And then it's like the dude's got a Lamborghini. Oh, well, hanging out with him. Come on. Right. It was a bunch of crap. That list is crap. Who gets us the most TV money? That's all the list is.
But, the American
student welfare. Come on.
Their distribution is around TV distribution around 9 million. I think it can maybe get up to 10 annually, per school, because this is all about financials. It's always is about money. So you think about what the Pac-12 could get, what their value is, their TV value for their distribution. And it's got to be, you would think it's got to be a lot more than that to convince teams out there to come cross country to join a league that isn't A5.
Do not do that. South Florida, do not do this. Come on.
I agree. I think that would be a terrible decision. But how many terrible decisions have we seen been made?
Yeah, there's been a lot.
Yeah, and just flying in the face of geography and reason. But yeah, I mean, if I'm looking at it, the UNLV piece is fascinating, and if the damn Fremont Cannon keeps UNLV out of the Pac-12. That's the trinket they play for in their rivalry game with Reno. Vegas is going to turn that cannon on Reno and shoot it at them because Vegas is like they should be a natural fit there, both geographically and to have Las Vegas, to have the market and to have access to the stadium for your championship game and so many other things. It just fits. So. Yeah, I think they've got to see if they can figure out a way to do that. If Reno holds them back, woo.
You remember in The Godfather, right? Like they make their money down in Vegas, and then the Corleone family gets up at Lake Tahoe. They got that compound. You got to connect those two. It's not easy. They make a pinky promise in Nevada. You don't mess with it.
That's true.
You don't mess with it.
You can lose some people in Lake
Back
Tahoe.
in the day, there would have been a few explosions in a parking deck before this thing went down. Hopefully, we've moved on.
Yeah.
Somebody gets buried in Lake Mead.
State of Texas makes sense. You know, what you would have to do in the case of UTSA or North Texas is to convince them that Mountain West, Pac-12, I'm sorry, would be better than the AAC. And that's a different argument. You got to figure that one out. Texas State, it's interesting. And the timing of all this is so fascinating, guys. Texas State is playing tonight.
Yeah.
A national showcase game against Arizona State. What better time for them to say, hey, look what we got going on down here. And then, of course, Saturday, we have Oregon State hosting Oregon, Washington State playing Washington, Colorado State playing Colorado. So, like, the showcase the stage is set for these schools that either putting this league together or wanting perhaps to be in that league right here, right now. It's fascinating timing.